Natan once again with the Yuzong being banned out. But fun fact, Dewa United might be feeling a little bit of trauma, a little bit of PTSD. Because the last time they met, when Evos were able to win it 2-1, it was Annabelle on the Alpha where he was able to get a Maniac on it.
That was their debut, by the way.
Yeah.
The Holy Roster debut with Natko, I believe.
So that is something, of course, that needs to be respected. And like we're seeing right here, it seems to be a full team fight situation, and the Alpha can just be so annoying with the sustain, with the true damage. That's AoE, by the way, in the middle of those scramble. So banning it away will be a great move. And the Yuzong ban away is probably to protect the Natan, but it can also be a double value ban to try and protect potentially Clockwork on something high ground centric. They can just provide more crowd control, more deterrence to ensure that even when Brands is zoned out somewhat, there's still going to be some damage output coming through.
The Roger should be the best choice here to go up against the Natan. Very good in lane to bully the Natan, and again, they already have a very strong trio mid to secure these neutral objectives. So as long as that Natan gets neutralized, at least in the lane by Roger, until the trio mid can get an advantage, it'll be dope for them. But the export, good ban, taking it away from Fluffy. Definitely a hero that would find extreme value up against this tanky comp.
Especially when they're going to go and dance around the neutral objectives. Yeah, the export, it's just good AoE, also good ways to really look for information. But with now Vexana here, as an extra layer of crowd control, we haven't seen it a lot in recent times, but against a short-range composition like Dewa has right now, with the Valentina also being somewhat mid to close range, it's going to be a very value pick to really help everyone really start a fight, and also perhaps, you know, go for those pickoffs, right? Remember, the grip, the Terrify from Vexana, that comes out really quick. It's a very wide skill that's hard to dodge away from.
Let's see how Dewa counter this. They go for the Claude in the gold lane as well as the Lapu Lapu.
Doubling down on the trio mid and going for neutral objectives, and instead of playing for strong lane, instead of trying to get a good matchup, they instead just go for kind of a similar pick to the Natan. Someone that just wants to farm, get to the item power spikes, and then fight later. So Watts and Brands, we should be expecting a little bit of a bro lane here where both of them just bro it out and farm. They're farmers now.
Looks like they are.
Welcome to the rice fields.
All
Rice
right.
field gameplay from the gold lane is what we were expecting. But the final pick for Evos right here can really show again how they want to play this out. So far, it seems like they're going to be more reactive. Oh,
Franco?
It's going to be a Franco. Never mind, not reactive. You're going to be the ones going for pickoffs more than a full-blown team fight. Can this work out, though, against so much AoE?
That's the question, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dream's signature hero. He has wreaked havoc in the land of Dawn on the Franco.
You want to talk about that comment?
Whew.
From Oh My Venus?
Oh, what comments?
Well, Venus said that after seeing the Franco picked up by Evos Glory, I think in like their 2 matches ago, Venus said, "Man, I get nightmares whenever I see the Franco for Dreams because
Was it
Venus
from
remembers
ISF?
ISF, those dark days of going up against Dreams on the Franco, where he actually changes his nickname from Dreams to the Nightmare,
Ooh,
just like KSI."
that's terrifying. That's terrifying. That's a nightmare for Dewa United. Will they be able to handle it? Will they be able to wake up and find a success in this first game? Best of 3, ladies and gentlemen. The standings depend on it as we welcome you into the land of Dawn between Dewa United and Evos Glory. Game number 1. Let's go.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Later on, though, I think it's going to be a bit more difficult. We have to see how this plays out. Early on, I think Evos has a lot more weight to throw around. But later on, if they go and engage on potentially, I think most likely the Minotaur, then the team can still dive in and provide crowd control, can stop the main engagement, and then the Minotaur can still use the Minion Fury. And the opposite is also true. The Minion Fury can be used as a counter-engage tool to zone everyone from following up on Dreams, making the play. But already, that's a great hook.
Yep.
He has the focusing mark as well, so that's going to be very, very heavy pick of strat. But for Brands and Watt, both still going for the tenacity, knowing it's going to be so difficult for both of them being targeted, having the attention from the rest of their opponents. And Keys and Clockun going for similar utility heavy builds.
Wow, some more damage there If Clock couldn't anticipated the hook, Case might have just fallen, but still, Flicker and Purify burnt out by Mr. Dream Man on the Franco when he wants to go for more. Goes in for the gold crab and successfully relieves off pressure from Brands.
That's a lot of aggression already, a lot of distractions coming through for Dreams, and this is something that we can anticipate later on as we get further and further into the mid-game. That level of pressure that Dewa United need to always be aware of, and the problem is Watt only has one Purify, meaning that the hooks can land in, especially when the cooldowns go down. See, just that can already make people sweat.
But I mean, it's happy feet coming in from Watt. And I mean, the same thing can be said for Brands. Both these players are just so good at positioning due to how often they're put in these vulnerable gold laners. Looking at the early game though, it seems like Anvil does have a bit of an edge. He was being backed up by Fluffy to go in, but Dewa are the ones making the first move towards the turtle.
Yeah, with the Bravest Fighter instantly, but Adetson is welcome to respond it over Drian. That's a flicker forward, Animator's Fury, and now it's going to be the CC overload towards the back. Fluffy though finds a good final slash now on Drian. One last hit, finds it. Gary with a taunt onto Fluffy, Cage with a splash of damage. That's a trade 2 for 2 for now. Both teams with a big Eternal Guard still available, but Dewa seems like they have won out of this resource battle, the long battle. Gary now on the turtle. Dreams looking for an angle to perhaps go for a trade, a hook, but Gary just pops out Appraiser's Wrath and the Retry and secures it. No, he actually doesn't use the Retry, just a clean Appraiser's Wrath.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing a technical pause, but finally we do get to hear a breakdown of this recap into the early game from the first turtle. What happened there?
I think Dewa did a great job being proactive there. They had the control. They're the ones who actually engaged in that fight as well. And they have a lot more burst damage in the early game from that Lapu Lapu. And as we predicted for just a bit, it seems like Evos tried to throw back some damage, but unfortunately they were unable to really get a clean pick-off. So the members from Dewa, even though some do fall, they were
3 minutes has elapsed so far, but again, Dewa United and Evos, despite the fact that Dewa were able to get that neutral objective earlier on under the nose of Evos, the gold difference isn't that distinct.
It's only a very minimal amount right here. As we have a talent prediction by Samsung Galaxy S24 series, where the vast majority of casters go for Evos, but on the Indonesian desk, 2 votes for Dewa United. And Lim Kochul voting for Evos. That's the interesting one.
So hi.
He always goes Dewa usually.
Yes,
Oh.
he's the known Dewa supporter.
Is he trying to follow your footsteps
My
Ooh.
footsteps?
with a
The
mirror
curse.
curse?
Whoa.
The curse
I've never heard of a
footsteps.
limb curse, but it will technically it has a good ring on to it, right? Because it's LK Lim Kochul. It could be limb curse instead.
Lim Kutuk.
Lim Kutuk.
Oh.
We'll have to bring it up to him later on. But for now, looks like Dewa still has full control. Since Evos are relying more on the pickoff on long distance, like the Iron Hook and the grip here, you can see that they are just more hesitant to just walk into a big fight. Dewa has a better combo. So using that, Dewa are able to really muscle away Evos from those situations. But this is where Evos need to get creative. They have to send the roamer multiple areas in order for Dewa to just keep guessing, okay, are Evos grouping up together for a pickoff here? Is it a 2v1, bring your bro to a 1v1 type deal for Evos? That is where Evos have to be a bit more dynamic.
All right then. Fluffy, final slash, 2-man. Dexter is welcome instantly. Onto Dixon, and he gets deleted by the Eternal Guard now. Eminence Fury onto the back. Adafel looking for a retreat right now. Doesn't get it just yet. Gary secures it now, knocks him up. One last shot is all they need. Gary chasing him down. Clockman trying to prevent that from happening. Cancels out the dash. Very well played by Clockman to save his Dynaman. But in the bottom lane, wow. Watt again forced to purify and forced back.
But it was a unfortunate trade, honestly, for Evos. I think they were banking on the fact that they could shut down Watt in the bottom lane, but Watt was still able to negate that pressure, to negate that pickoff. And here it looks like Dreams is going to be punished instead.
Well, might be actually a re-engage. Goes for the Iron Hook, doesn't get it, and Dewa and Evos both back away.
Again, still marginal differences in the gold, but if you look at the gold in there, Bronze definitely has a bit of an edge, only by 100 gold, but that is with the impact that Dreams has had roaming down there. technically kind of babysitting him in that lane. Whereas for Watt, despite all the pressure, he's still keeping up in gold. Overall, has to be the situation must look better for Dewa here, who are doing exactly everything they need to try and get some control in the early game, but still make sure that their late game carry can still farm through towards that mid to late side of the game. But you have to remember that later on, compared to the Claw, the Natan is going to be harder to deal with due to the true damage, the magic, the hybrid mix of damage, whereas for people going up against Watt, they can just go for physical defense and call it a day.
Looks like Dewa United are looking for a pick onto Bruns. Let's see if they're able to get it. He actually gets pushed back, brought back, and they aren't able to find Bruns, but they're able to push them back far enough to be able to get that tower in the bottom side, but it gets immediately traded back by Fluffy in the top lane.
Oh, Dreams all alone caught now. Oh, still able to flicker out Dreams. Wow, okay. Gets out to safety, and it's an equal trade despite Dewa sending 5 members down below.
Dewa are just trying to force Evos into these fights and try and start to snowball. But unfortunately, the trading, the macro play from Evos has been so good so far. But look at this now, with the turtle being hit, with some more items available, Evos has a lot more pick-off threat compared to previously.
Stolen Eternal Guard by Kaze on the IMU. Fluffy's still looking for an angle right now. The bloody hunt connects there. On towards the back, not able to find it completely though, and that's Annabelle deleted in the back as well, blazing duet as Gary secures a 3rd turtle in this game. Brands, not enough damage to really threaten any of these frontliners, not just yet.
Annabelle gets taken down at the price of the neutral objective. It looks like Dreams wanted to go in for a pick onto Gary, but Gary still able to dodge away from it. Earlier on, it was both of the gold laners finally participating in the neutral objective take, with Brands picking up the Starlium Scythe and Watt picking up the Golden Staff. It was more ready, but wait a minute.
Oh, a good hook. Clock could miss it. The Eternal Guard though, and that might prove to be
Gary?
very costly. Gary gets out! A big blunder from Claw, the Eternal Guard to the back. And Dewa get a massive win.
That could have been such a valuable moment for Evos right there to get a kill in exchange. Some more jungle pressure due to taking out Annabelle. But unfortunately, it did not come through. Now Dewa, with the extra tower taken on the top side, they're pulling further away in the gold lead. Only 1.4k, but only a bit is required, especially in this mid game where we were talking again about all the combos available to Dewa. The fact that they have so much more AoE, so much more ways to dive into the backline to zone Clockland and Bruns away from a big fight. They're going to be looking to just stick together right here. But Evos, they're already springing up a trap, assuming that there's going to be some attempt to clear the waves coming in from Dewa.
Who are they expecting though? Doesn't look like they're expecting anyone. It looks like Watt is in the top side. They go in for a trade. Bran's going to be able to get that tower as well, but traded back by Watt. Can Fluffy defend the turret? I don't think he can.
Nope. They're looking for a possible chase though. Fluffy's still chasing over the wave there. But they give it all to Brands here.
That's a good moment there for Dewa to go for to actually be able to take the turret first of all. But taking the turret away right before the Lord spawns here, this means that there's going to be a lot more time and space for that minion wave to really build up. And it's going to threaten not the second turret on the top side, but the base turret. Now there's going to be more pressure exerted towards Evos there for them to try and manage that wave and keep it under control. Brands is showing right now though, so Dewa, they can just force a fight right here without any gold intervention.
Watt is online. He can already join the team fights. Meanwhile, Brands, I don't think he can. Free Lord over to Dewa. And not even a hook from Dreams. Oh, Fluffy still decides to go in. 2-man final slash. But Drian, oh, with a flicker forward, Brad's gonna be CC duty right now, and they actually go in for Fluffy in the back. It's traded on for Drian. It's not the way to do it. Comes into the back as well, and the appraiser's right from Gary. Comes out, Kaze executes Annabelle. 2-for-1 trade as the Lord gets taken by Dewa.
That felt a little greedy from Evos. Honestly, they did and were able to get Drian off the board, but they had to lose Annabelle and Fluffy for it. Fluffy on his debut pick Arlet, not doing the greatest of impacts so far. But let's take a look at the items.
Divine Glaive is ready for Brian, so he's going to do a lot of damage in the middle of these fights. He's not far ahead in gold though compared to Watt, who already has the 3 main components for his power spike, but no Wind of Nature, so that is something that can still be abused in these fights for now. But with 2 members down, Evos are trying to stop this Lord push, but Dewa are getting a lot of value.
Yeah. Clockwork's just been throwing out these Eternal Guards, by the way. It almost seems like it's kind of random at times.
You should probably maybe calculate a bit more the placement and of course when he needs a crowd control, because at this point, without a lot of combos available to Evos, to stop Dewa from just going all in on a fight when Dreams gets a hook, Clockwork is going to have a lot of responsibility in deterring just that random all-in coming in from Dewa. And to make things worse right now, Dewa also has a Flash of the Oasis completed in the hands of Drian. So if you think that the fights have been one-sided in a 5v5 brawl for the side of Dewa, it's going to get even more difficult right here until a lot later, where the true damage shred coming through from Brands will be enough to really kind of equalize and burst through most of that.
What are we waiting for Bronze? Are we waiting on the Holy Crystal? Is that enough to become ready or online in these team fights? Is that what Evos is waiting for?
I think with the Holy Crystal, he'll definitely have a huge spike in DPS, but also in burst and in technically poke damage as well. So with that, there's even more pressure he can do in the fights. If he's baiting, a bit of a aggressive move forwards, then they will have a lot more to think about because they don't want to get poked down that easily by Brands with more items and more damage. So that, I think, will be a big swing in momentum. But of course, they have to remember that once that time does come, it means that Dewa will also have a lot more eyes on Brands as a target, right? We already talked about this. There's a lot more ways for them to really target the backline, Watt included, with the Claude and the Blazing Duet.
And I think that's maybe where Clockun comes in, right? With the Eternal Guard and so on and so forth. The fact that they can be able to try and peel and try to bait maybe the resources from Dewa United when these team fights occur, or they just bank on Dreams getting a pick off. But even then, even if they do get a pick, a great pick, there is still possibility for Dewa United to utilize their resources to turn things around. So what is the best course of action for Evos if they want to come back into the game, seeing as they're already at a 4K deficit?
I think for Evos, they have to really try and get a good fight in and a proper pick-off. They have enough damage technically right now to actually burst someone down, but look at how fast they're bursting the Lord down. Dewa.
Jensen is welcome onto Dixon with that Bravest Spider. That's the Lord taken for free. Now Minus Fury, not yet popped in, but Annabelle will just be taken out without it even. Case gets a Divine Glaive. Gary with the Appraiser's Wrath to the back. But now it's just another objective secured by Dewa.
All right, now the Holy Crystal was just now completed for Brands on the Natan. But with the Lord already marching down the mid lane right here, Evos, they gotta be a bit more careful in the positioning, man. They can't really walk up without without having made the decision to really go in and commit to a fight, because they can't really walk backwards. The fact that Annabelle was left alone so far away is just inevitable. And now with the Lord coming through, we'll see if Evos can defend. They do have high ground.
This is the advantage of having a Natan. You clear it
Oh!
so fast. Not even a charge to the base turret was given to the Lord. I think that might have been a Lord disadvantage with how much gold and resource technically Evos were able to get.
Now you see the Lord, now you don't. What in the world? Dewa now gonna go for a reset, ladies and gentlemen. Despite them having this lead, with Brands already securing his integral items, the components, the important ones, he should have the impact that Evos have been waiting for this entire time. And I do believe if they can fix the disconnect that we saw earlier in the team fight before the Lord take, it will be a little bit more difficult for Dewa United to win out these team fights flat out.
And in a team fight, there's already a negative endurance built up by Clockun on the Vexana, by the way. The Eternal Guard will be applying that again and again. And he has a Divine Glaive. So his burst damage output was delayed already, but now it has been compensated. But Fluffy was jumped on for just a bit.
Did Dixon get the Malefic Roar?
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah, Hunter Strike and the Malefic Roar.
Along with the Dominance Ice and the Radiant Armor, so his role here isn't to be a front line at all. He is committed to just going all the way in the back line. But of course, that relies on his team just getting a proper fight going in the first place. I think the main question here is who's going to really be the main engage tool for the side of Dewa? Because Dixon, Gary, and Drian can all serve that purpose. Ideally, it's going to be Drian, but of course, you do want to save some value from that minion's Fury, because it just comes out so much slower, right? And in a fight, it also has extra value in threatening the members of Evos to move backwards in the middle of a intense fight.
I mean, technically, maybe they're just banking on an initiation from Evos. We saw what Coffee did on the Arlet, and he was caught out alone, and then Dewa were able to commit onto Fluffy, making it a 4v5. So maybe that's the idea that they're going for. Meanwhile, Dixon goes in for the assassin play onto Bronze. I mean, that's what we're seeing from their build paths and their build items.
That's a fair idea. Because, you know, Dewa has more dive, but Evos technically have more frontline, right? The fact that they have a Barat and also Dream and Fluffy, technically they are 3 big tanks. Look at this play though. Ooh.
Oh! Drake fights Case, instantly cancelled by Drian as he flickers forward to knock up Fluffy all alone now and will be taken out by Case. Not in the midst of it all, Jetson is welcome. Finding Watt actually, Case! In the back getting an amazing displacement, and now it's Braz who gets taken down. Dewa take away 3 members for free. 17 minutes in, knocking on the base. Only Clock, Kun, and Dreams left to defend. 1 cannon minion and the Dream. Another minion wave for Evos. It's good Iron Hook for the cannon minion, but Clock gets dove on. The turret, will it get rid of that cannon minion? No, they take the aggro away from the minion, and now it's going to be him taken out. A complete wipeout for Dewa United. And they tank it up. The cannon minion will not die, and they will secure game number 1.
Hell hath no fury, like the son of God scorned. What a convincing win for game number 1 by Dewa United. Looking to slowly creep back up, slowly get out of the red zone, slowly keep their dream alive here. But again, right? I mean, that's what they were banking on. They were banking on the fact that Evos wanted to look for an initiation, and the counterplay was so brilliant. The way that they stacked all their resources, the way they stacked all their ultimates, the fact that Keys was able to utilize his IMU so well as well in the backline was just the cherry on top. Wow.
Everyone was thinking that Evos on the winning streak, on such a good recovery path, was gonna simply stomp out Dewa. But Dewa show again that there are no pushovers, and with the right situations, they have what it takes to just bring out the best in them.